Hey guys, today's video is not going to be quite what you're used to. For those of you in the Discord, you obviously know it did not have a plan for anything today, but I felt like this video needed to happen. It's kind of an update on life. Uh, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I can trust you guys. You're obviously like a part of my community. I feel like it's important that I do trust you guys, which, I mean, this video, it kind of is my first step in putting that trust into you. I obviously have it, I just haven't really done anything for it yet, which I do feel bad about, but, we're not doing the usual Skywars commentary, we're talking about life. I'm gonna be honest with you, I I have depression. That is, just a little fact about me. I think I always have, but we never really diagnosed it because I didn't really know how to express it or what it was. I just kind of went with it. And it's not necessarily anything in particular that causes it, apart from, not it's a fear of the unknown, I think. Um, and a big part of that is I have no idea what I am doing with my life or going into the future. I have no clue what I want to do. I mean, obviously YouTube would be cool, but, that almost never works out. It's not something I can really rely on. And so I just have this constant feeling of looming doom, basically, and like this fear of not knowing. And I know that's probably kind of stupid because, I mean, you can't control anything about your future, really. Like, yes, obviously you can make steps towards it, but when it comes to controlling your future, that's just unrealistic because some things just don't work out. And that's not me saying, like, obviously, like, that's not me saying you can't have dreams or anything. Obviously, follow your dreams, do what you want to do. I'm doing that right now with YouTube, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't know, I've never been able to just wholeheartedly do something without a backup plan, and for once in my life, there is no backup plan. I'm doing YouTube, but I don't know what else there is for me. Because the thought of being a YouTuber, it excites me, because I'm like, I love playing Minecraft, I love hanging out with my friends, I love entertaining people. And YouTube, it does all of those things. And, the only other thing I can think of doing, which I am, like, taking steps towards doing, but it's not, like, a legitimate thing, it's literally a high school thing, is I'm working towards being in a band and being a singer, because, again, entertainment, I like entertaining people. But there's still that looming feeling of, not knowing. And so I feel like it's a difficult thing to express for me. I don't express my feelings often, and that's very bad for me. Very, very bad. I have to learn how to do that, which is why I'm doing this, because I want to see if this works for me. And so far, it seems like it is. I am a big supporter of, therapy and going to see people when you have problems, which I'm just going to throw it out there now. If any of you are struggling with anything, you should absolutely look into therapy. Therapy works wonders for so many people. I don't know why it doesn't work on me, but it doesn't for some reason, and that's okay. I tried 3 times now. I'm currently in it, but I'm probably going to leave it soon because it just doesn't work for me. But I feel like, YouTube videos like this every now and then where I just kind of get my thoughts out there and let you guys know what's happening. They'll probably replace therapy for me. But, that's not for everyone. And therapy isn't for everyone. I'm just one of those people. I don't know why it doesn't work on me. It just never has, and I don't think it ever will. But my one of the people I look up to most in life, Dan Reynolds, he he has openly, talked about how he struggled and still struggles with depression and, you know, anxiety and all this different stuff. And I look up to him and kind of like follow his example. And I don't know, it's impressive how he handles it and just keeps on going. And like he struggles, don't get me wrong, he definitely struggles. All of in the music he produces, you can hear the struggle. It's all about his struggle and his questioning of why. Um, but it's still so cool to see. And I'm not like I don't know where I'm really going with this, but I for the longest time have struggled with, depression. I don't think it was ever that bad. It was definitely there, but it was never bad. It was just kind of that feeling of, well, what if nothing works out? And then getting down because I'm like, well, if nothing works out, then what does my life add up to? What am I going to be remembered for? And that feeling, I can't say it enough. That feeling of just the unknown is the scariest thing in the world to me. I don't fear things like you would think that for someone that's scared of the unknown, I would fear death or something, but I don't because even that I have an answer for. Like, obviously, I can't be 100% certain, but in my head, the logic adds up. And so that is something that works out for me. But when it comes to, what my life is going to add up to and what my legacy is going to be, I don't know. And that's not everything that it's about. That is what it started as, but another thing that happened recently, I guess I can't say recently, it's been quite a while. I want to say March of 2022, I got into my first ever relationship, and it was great. I'm not gonna specify any names because privacy, confidentiality, all that. But it was amazing because I had never been with someone before, and it was so new, and I loved it because it was just there. It was just kind of life at that point. I had gotten used to it. It lasted for 7 months, and the first 5-ish months were probably the best months I have ever had of my life because I was so happy. All of that feeling of the unknown and, the depression, the fear, it disappeared because I had someone now. I knew that my future did have one thing guaranteed. And it was, for a while, it was a really, really healthy, great relationship. We hung out all the time. I went to my first dance with her. I had my first ever, I had my first kiss. I had my first everything, really. I mean, not everything. I'm not going to specify what the other not everything is, but, if you know, you know. And it was so new to me, and at first that was scary because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if it was meant to be or if she was going to stay with me, and then, oh, wait, that was the other first. That was the first person outside of my family that I ever, like, romantically loved, and that loved me back as well. But that one's not as important. I just thought I would put it out there. So I kind of got used to that, having that person that I could rely on there and just, someone to hold and someone to be held by when I needed it. And after about 5 months, in sometime in August, some stuff started to happen that made it clear to me that, it might not work out and that it might not be the healthiest of relationships like I thought. In August, right as school was starting, she made me stop talking to the first friend I ever made since I moved here. I I am a very socially awkward person. I don't make friends easily, and this person had helped me so much by, being there for me when I didn't have anyone else. And it was a very difficult thing because I had to make a very difficult choice of my relationship or my first ever friendship up here. And for some reason, I was stupid enough to choose the relationship. I should have seen that red flag and immediately been like, okay, no, you're crazy, I'm done. But I didn't. Um, and the relationship went on for another like 2 months. And I think when I did that, something inside of her clicked. She began to change because she realized I would just listen. Because that's always what I've been told to do. If someone asks you to do something, you do it because that's how it's being nice. And I don't know. I guess in that situation, I should have realized that that's not the rule to live by, but I didn't. And it turned something different about her. And she very quickly began to change after she realized that. So after another 2 months of it, homecoming was coming up. We had just passed our 7-month milestone. I was excited because I was like, everything's good. The relationship was good. We were doing good. We weren't like arguing. We weren't fighting. Nothing. It was just pure joy, and I was happy again. And then, quite literally, the night before homecoming, I guess not really the night. So the school day had started off and we were fine, I thought, and then after lunch, I don't know why, we had the same lunch shift, and so we went to lunch, and for some reason she just seemed angry and annoyed with me, and I didn't think I did anything. I still don't know what I could have possibly done, but then we had a pep rally after because it was homecoming, and so we were gonna have a pep rally because the game was that night. There was a cookout, all this cool stuff. And I was really excited because I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the game. We're going to hang out. I'm going to go to the cookout. And I'm in the esports club, so we were going to have a car there. We were going to be playing games on it. I was super, super excited. And then so we get to the pep rally. And I saw her, and I was trying to walk with her because I wanted to talk and see what was happening, but she was so mad for no reason and began to like ignore me, and she was walking with one of her friends, which obviously I had no issue with her wanting to walk with one of her friends, but like there was clearly something happening, and I felt like it was only fair to talk to me and give me an explanation for it rather than just kind of acting like there was nothing happening. And I don't know, I guess it's not fair of me to do that, but still, it felt unfair. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but after the pep rally, I walked. So I'm a bus rider, but she's a car rider, so I was gonna just, since we were leaving from the pep rally, I was gonna walk her out to her car, say bye, tell her I would see her at the game, and it seemed okay. She seemed like she was letting go of it, and I distinctly remember afterwards getting a text from her saying, this is the part where it's gonna get hard to talk. I got a text from her about 10 minutes after I dropped her off at her car saying she didn't think it was working out between us anymore. And I was like, well, I asked her to explain why, like what she was feeling, and she didn't explain any of it. She just kind of said, we're done, and called it at that. I said, okay, went to my room. She wanted to keep talking about it after. She wanted to, like, I don't think she wanted to really explain herself, but to more tell me everything that was wrong with me. And I don't know. It just kind of like in my head, I knew it was supposed to happen because I had even thought about it. I wanted multiple times to break up with her, but I didn't because I had that feeling of hope. And I think part of it was not wanting to regain the fear of, the great unknown and what might happen in the future. And so I stayed in a toxic relationship for about 2 months. It was awful. I hated it, but I also loved it. It's so hard to explain, but eventually, I texted her after and I was like, can we talk about this? Can we, you know, can you at least explain to me what was wrong? I didn't want to get back with her, but I did want her to explain what was wrong. And she never told me. She never explained anything. She just said there were a bunch of things wrong with me that, I want to say I know aren't true. Like, deep down, I do know they're not true. My friends know they're not true. But they stick with me. And one of the things that she told me was that she thought I had a victim complex, which basically just means she believed that anytime she would try and talk about something, I would make it about me, which I always find kind of funny because I didn't talk to her about anything I was feeling for like the last 2 months of the relationship because I didn't want her to, turn it against me and make it seem like it was my fault. And I think I tried to once, and I told her that I was sick of hearing all these negative things that she had to say about me, and I just wanted to hear something positive every now and then. And I'm pretty sure her response was, "It just sounds like you can't take criticism to me." And that destroyed me. But anyways, so yeah, the night before homecoming, she broke up with me over text, and I was like simultaneously destroyed and happy. I was like 7 months of work, my first ever relationship, and it's just over. So that destroyed me, and I lost, the ability to hold someone like that close to me. And it definitely hurt, and I was more sad than happy, but at the same time, I was glad it was over. I was glad I was finally free of it. And I was still kind of okay. Like, obviously, I was struggling. There were all these different things circling through my head. Like, what did I do wrong? Why wouldn't you tell me? But the one thing I remember distinctively. So I've got to give a bit of background for this. We had met about a year before. We met in October of 2021, which means in October of this year it will have been 2 years since we met. But when so we met through English class, and we instantly hit it off. There were a bunch of things that we were bonding over, and eventually we got to that point where we were best friends. Like, nothing could separate us, but we also had that kind of friendship where, we would tell each other we hated each other, but really we liked each other. And those are my favorite kind of friendships. But eventually, I asked her out, all that. But I only say that because after the breakup actually happened, she was like, "Don't worry though, we can go back to the way things were before. We'll just be friends. We'll just kind of hang out." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm okay with that. I can, I'll lose whatever remaining feelings pretty fast after this." And I did, but I think she did. She never told me, but I think she did. And I was okay for a while because I was like, I still have the friendship. Obviously, I don't have, the relationship, but I have the friendship, which is what matters to me, is I need, even if it's not someone that, I can be affectionate towards, just someone there is all that I need. And so I'm stuttering. I'm struggling a little with this video. It's difficult to talk about this stuff for me. I don't really talk about my feelings. So, we tried to keep in touch for a while. I really did try because it was one thing to lose the relationship, but to me, losing a friendship is worse, and I was about to lose both, so I was clinging on to what I had left. And I guess I don't know, I guess I was too overbearing, which is something I've noticed. A lot of people leave me because I'm too much like me, and I don't have an explanation for it. I don't have an explanation for why. I just am. And one of the things that we've talked about is we're pretty sure I have undiagnosed autism. But, you know, we obviously it would be undiagnosed, so it's not like I can just tell people that. And we're going to get me screened soon and I'll finally have the answers, but the actual important thing to take away from this is when in November, for some reason, out of absolutely nowhere, she started just kind of disappearing and kind of pulling away from me and the friendship. So, like, for a while there, we had, you know, during the relationship, we were texting all day, every day. It was great. After the breakup, we would, you know, we wouldn't text each other all day, but we would text each other a good bit for the first couple of weeks. Then it started being like, you know, still every day, but not quite as much. And then eventually every day, but only like one or two messages. And then, you know, every other day, only a couple messages. And it started going down to I would message her, hear nothing back, and then, you know, have to message her a couple more times before she would finally respond with just a simple, like, hi or something. And it became very exhausting for me to be forced to do that and to, you know, initiate the conversation every time and just get absolutely nothing back. And I think that's when I started to, you know, kind of give up, but I was still holding on. She was not. She ghosted me in November. Absolutely no explanation, which, if you don't want to be my friend, I'm okay. If you give me an explanation and you give me closure, I'm okay. But she didn't give me either of those things, and I've struggled with it for the past, I don't even know anymore how long it's been, 6 months, I guess. And that is when the depression really, really kicked off. I have had, you know, days where, and the weird thing is, it's not a constant thing. The weird thing is, I have had mornings where I wake up and I am just so excited and ready for the day and ready for life. And then I've had mornings where I wake up and I wish I hadn't. It's just so weird. And then a lot of days are just kind of gray. There's really nothing that makes it good or bad. It's just kind of a day. And I feel like that is what most days recently have been. And that is why I feel so hopeless recently. And even with, you know, Timebreaker starting up, I'm so excited for Timebreaker, but it's just this feeling of, what am I gonna do? I have no one that I can hold close to me like that. Not like I used to be able to. And I'm still, it's not like I miss her exactly, it's that I miss that feeling of reliability and having just someone there. And I do have people now, and they are my best friends. I love them. They do so much for me that I don't deserve, but they do it. And I feel like there's a bit of guilt that comes with it, and that also increases it because I feel like an inconvenience to them. Which, I mean, obviously, they don't feel that way about me, but I feel that way about me. I feel like an inconvenience to myself, and then, you know, there's these people that do so much for me. I feel like an inconvenience to them. But I eventually ended up signing up for therapy because I didn't think I was depressed. I thought, you know, oh, I've gone through a breakup. It's normal to feel sad. Which, yes, but we had a school session, I guess, a health class on depression and like different signs and, you know, how to tell if you're depressed. And one of the big things they kept emphasizing was not exactly an inability to feel joy, but an inability to recognize it, and also, you know, feeling like every day is the same. Anyways, I had to go for a second, so I have no idea what I was talking about, but just my final thoughts. I have struggled, and I'm still struggling, but it's getting better. I mean, I'm finding the things that work for me. To wrap up the other story, we were in school, had a little seminar or something, or class, I don't know. But it was about, like, depression, how to tell if someone's depressed, how to tell if you're depressed. And a couple of the big things they kept pointing out was that it's kind of like everlasting, not even just sadness. Like, yes, that is a sign of it, but another sign of it is a lack of interest in everything, and that was where I was at. I'm still kind of at that, but it's getting better. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to blame it all on the breakup, but yes, a good bit of it was the breakup, and a good bit of the things she said still stick with me. And, you know, like the victim complex thing, that is, obviously I don't have one, but that is what has made it so hard for me to talk about my feelings and express my feelings. Because it's just a thought that's kind of there now. I can't get rid of it because, you know, that's something so serious to tell someone that, you know, you think they have. And I don't know, it's been rough, but it's getting better. I think making videos like this will help. I have the most wonderful friends right now. They are there for me when I need it. They check in on me. They make sure that, you know, I'm okay. I'm not going to do anything bad. I'm not going to, you know, I'm just doing better than I was before. And I really do appreciate them for that and everything they do. So, again, sorry today's video wasn't exactly, like, cool, entertaining Skywars commentary. It was kind of heavy. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.